How to test while loop, once, with Nosetest, Python 2.7. I'm pretty new to this whole programming thing, but at age 34 I thought that I'd like to learn the basics. I unfortunately don't know any Python programmers. I'm learning programming due to personal interest, and more for the fun of it, but my social habitat is not where the programmers roam, winky face. I'm almost finished with Zed Shaw's Learn Python the Hard Way, and for the first time I can't figure out a solution to a problem. The last 2 days I didn't even stumble upon useful hints where to look when I repeatedly rephrased and searched for my question. So Stack Overflow seems to be the right place. By the way, I lack also the correct vocabulary quite often, so please don't hesitate to correct me, smiley face. This may be one reason why I can't find an answer. I use Python 2.7 and Nosetests. How far I solved the problem, I think, in the steps I solved it. Function 1. All tests import the following to be able to do the things below. Here is the test for INP_1. This function test is okay. Quite similar is the following function too. Test. This function test is also okay. Please don't assume that I really know what is happening behind the scenes when I use all the stuff above. I have some layman explanations how this is all functioning and why I get the results I want, but I also have the feeling that these explanations may not be entirely true. It wouldn't be the first time that how I think STH works turns out to be different after I've learned more. Especially everything with __ confuses me, and I'm scared to use it since I don't really understand what's going on. Anyway, now I just want to add a while loop to ask for input until it is correct. The test for INP_3 I thought would be the same as for INP_2. At least I am not getting error messages. But the output is the following. The other 7 tests are STH, else, and OK. The test for INP_3 would be test NR8. The time is just the times passed until I press Ctrl+C. I don't understand why I don't get error or test failed messages but just an OK. So beside the fact that you may be able to point out bad syntax and other things that can be improved, I really would appreciate it if you would do this. My question is, how can I test and abort while loops with Nosetest?
So, the problem here is when you call INP_3 in test for second time, while mocking raw underscore input with mock, or return underscore value equals foo. Your INP_3 function runs infinite loop, or while true, and you're not interrupting it in any way except for if s equals a 1 a condition. So with mock, or return underscore value equals foo, that condition is never satisfied, and your loop keeps running until you interrupt it without a means, or Ctrl+C in your example. If it's intentional behavior, then how to limit execution time of a function call in Python will help you to limit execution time of INP_3 in test. However, in cases of input like in your example, developers often implement a limit to how many input attempts user have. You can do it with using variable to count attempts, and when it reaches max, loop should be stopped. Also, to learn Python I can recommend book, Learning Python, by Mark Lutz. It greatly explains basics of Python. Update. I couldn't find a way to mock Python's true, or a built-in .true, and yeah, that sounds a bit crazy. Looks like Python didn't, or and won't, allow me to do this. However, to achieve exactly what you desire, to run infinite loop once, you can use a little hack. Define a function to return true. Use it in while loop. And then mock it in test with such logic. Then in test. With this your loop will run only once. However, This construction uses a few advanced Python tricks, like generators, underscore methods etc., so use it carefully. But anyway, generally infinite loops considered to be bad design solutions. Better to not getting used to it, smiley face.
It's always important to remind me that infinite loops are bad. So thank you for that, and even more so for the short example how to make it better. I will do that whenever possible. However, in the actual program the infinite loop is how I'd like to do it this time. The code here is just the simplified problem. I very much appreciate your idea with the modified, true function. I never would have thought about that, and thus I learned a new method, how tackle programming problems, smiley face. It is still not the way I would like to do it this time, but this was the so important clue I needed to solve my problem with existing methods. I never would have thought about returning a different value the second time I call the same method. It's so simple and brilliant, it's astonishing me, smiley face. The mock module has some features that allows a different value to be returned each time the mocked method is called, side effect. Side underscore effect can also be set to an iterable. When your mock is going to be called several times, and you want each call to return a different value. When you set side underscore effect to an iterable, every call to the mock returns the next value from the iterable. The while loop has an exit. Is this the correct term for it? It just needs the 1 as input. I will use this to exit the loop. Now the test runs and returns OK, or an error, e.g. if the first input already exits the loop. Thank you very much again for the help. That made my day, smiley face.
Så återgår det kända tillkonservativt av Kyrie.